weekend this week. So, FYI, the markets are closed Monday, so we get an extra day to sleep in. But, because the markets are closed on Monday, you know, um, it's just I always expect slower volume. So right here is where you guys could try, right? So, hard stop below 680. So I'm gonna wait for a retest of 680, and I'm gonna be looking for some QQQ entries here. I like the 602s at 2.17. I took those earlier, but just keep in mind premiums are a bit juiced here on those. You see why you take profits on Palantir? So I like the 602 calls. I just don't like they're juiced, right? But I took those. Those are at 2.31 here. Let's see if we hold. 2.55. Nice. You guys see that bounce from that retest? I'm making some more money here on QQQ. All right, let's see if we hold up here. Again, if we fell volume here, I'm going to take my profits. They're at 2.80 here. My entry was 2.17. VIX needs to fade here. You guys can even target the 605 calls just a little bit out of the money here. We definitely need to slash out of this opening range, but you guys can see the choppier ranges on the NQ is this opening range and this key support area here at 680. So, these premiums are juiced, and something's telling me here to, take profits at 2.72. I'm all out at 2.72. Again, these could run, but it's just, I'm not too a fan of trading these expensive contracts. So I took them off at 2.72. I'm not too a fan of, trading these contracts kind of like expensive, right? Premiums are definitely juiced. I'd wait for pullbacks and add at pullbacks if you guys are, with a bullish bias, but I took profits at 2.72 on those QQ calls. I still think we will get there, right? But I just don't want to risk those expensive contracts, right? So, just wait for this pop. Like if you're still in them, right? Just wait for these pops and take them off. But I took it off. We could go higher, right? So it just assess the risk to reward. Ideally, we wanted to see the VIX below the opening range, but yeah, made another you know, $700, well, $650 here on QQ. But they're at 3.04 here. That was a nice move. Any questions here? These are nice moves. This is exactly what we were waiting for, right? But you got to react. We're trading in a tighter range, and yeah. And sometimes when you're in swing trades, it definitely skews your bias. Like like when you're in a swing trade, that's what puts you in a bad spot. So if you're a beginner trader, don't focus too much on swing trading. It'll eventually come, right? Yeah, some of my best trades have came from swing trading, right? But also, I've had some really great trades. Also, day trading. Just keep in mind the swing trades usually are bigger. Day trading, like when I used to like make 80K in a day trading, right? Just was trading with a crazier amount of size, right? Whereas, to make 80K swing trading is a little bit, less of a headache than doing that. I also took off the calls because the UVXY is still holding this opening range here. I just don't want to force price here either. I like getting more in calls at 608, right? So I'd rather wait for price to naturally come back down to its core support and see if we could find some re-entries on the calls. This market ain't faking me out today. Trust me. So QQ premiums back at 2.42. Anybody re-entering here? Anybody's tempted to re-enter here? Anybody's looking for 605 calls here. And let's actually see. No, no, I'm not taking in just yet. 602 is okay. I'm waiting for six. I want to see perfect touch of 680. I don't like to chase this here. Like for me to enter, I need to see 680, right? So don't chase automatically here, right? Wait for 680. That's our pivot. If you're in it before that, great. You just assess the risk, right? I'm personally gonna enter at 680. Only A plus executions this morning. You got to move fast at this type of when momentum picks up, you got to move fast. So we're here at 680. 605 calls seem like the best move. We do hold this area. I'm watching to see if the VIX can reject here. But this is a great spot to take calls. You guys see how the 680 level from the pre-market is just like a very attractive zone. Again, I would love to see exhaustion on the VIX before I get out of the money plays, but I'm in some starters at 605 at an average of 1.09 here. But a little bit on the higher risk side, as mentioned, just because I would like, one characteristic that I would need is the VIX to accelerate fast to downside, right? So it needs to reject fast. Still hasn't done it. You'll have more success trying to like get into the out of money calls when this rejects fast. We know there's a core support here at 680, right? So you guys can see that's like the bounce area. If you're not seeing that fast move, please assess your risk here as these calls are at break even. And I have a starter size, very small size. And these are kind of juice too, yeah. But let's see if we bounce out of this area. Again, Apple needs to go back above 260 for this trade to work. And the VIX needs to like move faster to the downside here. It still hasn't moved fast enough to the downside for this to be like an A plus trade. I got stopped out of this one 1.16. I mean, it looks good, right? But I just don't want to risk my profits, right? I'm happy I made, I'm happy I got out of this one as 1.16. These look good though. Like I don't want to stop you out if you've got a good entry. The reason why I stopped out is because I don't want to risk my profits on day. But feels good to make back the Palantir loss and be up on QQ. So I don't want to expose that going into 7:15 time. But yes, these look good if you guys are in it. Like I kind of like, I kind of like weak handed them here. But yeah, I mean, wow. Anyone still in? Wow. I definitely that's the definition of fumbling a play. But after you have two wins and well, theoretically it was 3 wins because I had a win on QQ, just a smaller position this morning, right? And then a second win PLTR and a third win on QQ again, and then this fourth win here on QQ, but I fumbled it. But I took it like but yeah, no, well, yeah, that level is like again, Ryan. Look, Ryan, I know exactly what you're looking for. Okay, you've been here long enough. If you guys be here long enough, I will know you guys individually. I will help you guys. I will, just know I have losses too. Okay, there's no one that's perfect in the skill set. I just play more aggressive. Like at the end of the day, like I wasn't worried about being down 3,300. It's within my risk management. If anything, yes, the only rule that I broke is that I never like being more down than $2,000 in options. But it happens still. It's gonna happen. But in reality, Ryan, what you're looking for is a momentum-driven market. So, in the pre-market tape, if you don't see any type of momentum in the morning, don't get indulged to trade. Trade only when momentum is there. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't need to trade every day. And you could watch the market, you could tune into them. And if there's lower volume, just fight the urgency to get into a trade. But as you can see, we're having more success because there was actual volume in the pre-market session. No, yeah, I like the 602 calls. I just fumbled the ball on those. I mean, I still exited with profit. My average was 1.09. I exited at 1.16. But, I don't want to risk my profits on day today. That's a really good strategy, Ricardo. I like that. I like that. Yeah, the 605s. The 605s, no, I had this, yeah, the 605, not 602s. The 605s are at 1.35 from my average of 1.09, but I took those off at 1.16. The 602s are at 2.54. I took those off at 2.72. So we killed it this morning. We good? Yeah, no, when the market moves fast, that's my thing, right? Market moves fast. When the market chops up, that's where you see me all sad. You just see me in the like all sad with my head down, like all sad. But yeah, I took those off. I'm not in anything. The VIX still doesn't look like it's decelerating. Maybe if we come back to 680 again, but I don't want to risk my gains today. Like I said, I'm super happy that I made back the loss on Palantir. And plus I made some money on QQ, but no emotion driven trades, right? In and out. Like I had no type of emotions this morning. The moment when you involved emotions is when you're exposing yourself, right? Because the thing is that you're reacting more of like what you think rather than what the market is telling you, right? No, yeah, if we get above if we get above 604, if we get above 604.80, that's it. Like, welcome back, Luke. Luke, I need you, like I want, trade when there's actual pre-market volume, okay? I get it, like you're trying to overextend yourself, but it's part of the losses people have to take to actually, understand the type of trader they are, right? Um, TOS, yes, I trade with Thinkorswim. I use the mobile app for futures. So I use the mobile app, but I like to, show you guys the desktop version of the tape readings. But I also on my other screen here while I'm like looking at it, I have Ninja Trader. So I like using the Super Dom with Ninja Trader, but on TOS it's more than enough, right? Sufficient to watch the tape. Now, I personally fill options with my phone, right? But when I trade futures, I like to be in a desktop. I trade futures with a desktop better. I trade options with my phone. I have just a phone just for trading options. You have more of a remote because the option premiums is just not too it's you could be off like by $1, and if we bounce right away, you won't even feel it, right? Instead of buying the premiums, you sell them. If you guys are in calls, right? Just watch for the opening range to fail on the VIX here. So if you guys want to see higher, I'm not in anything here. I took profits on everything, but if you guys want to see higher here, the VIX, this is like non-negotiable. The VIX has to go back below this area. I'm not in anything. I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to trade past 7:15 a.m. FYI, keep in mind it's a long weekend, and we still made money and good money in these tighter ranges, right? Because I just feel comfortable getting into positions when there's actual volume, right? Like there's volume here. right? When there's volume, I just naturally feel comfortable getting in positions, right? But I actually think that intraday volume will die down, right? Intraday, I think volume will die down. The primary fact is that we have a long weekend, and just from personal experience, and it might be that today does disregards that. There's just an immense amount of FOMO. No one cares about President's Day, and everyone's just like just the skyrocketed volume intraday. But I'm not willing to take that gamble today. Just from my personal experience, intraday usually has lower volume. But yeah, these ranges are great. This volume is great. But I am also forward thinking here that we have President's Day on Monday. It's a long weekend, and the markets could slow down real fast as well here. So I don't want to put myself in a deja vu moment from yesterday. Yeah, we'll do power hour. I think power hour would be better than intraday session, but I might be wrong, right? Intraday session might be good. I don't, if you're in calls here, I don't want to discourage you, but just keep in mind that Apple definitely does need to get above 260. You put yourself in a higher risk trading environment, the more Apple's below 260, but also the opening range here, right? The VIX's opening range here needs to fail. Like for us to go higher here, the VIX needs to fail here. So let's watch this here. I'm personally done. I'm not going to take any trades here. I took 4 successful trades this morning, and I really do not want to give back anything this morning. It's been one hell of a week. Today's definitely going to be a Matt Gallen type of night. Matt Gallen. For reals. It literally happened. What happened to me last week, right? On Thursday, like I got super bullish intraday, and and the move happened Friday. Like literally the same thing that happened to me. Like that's why I say it's a deja vu moment. I could have just waited for Friday, and that's why you know, um, like don't swing, right? Just take me for an example, right? It's like don't swing anything with short-term expirations. I'm swinging Amazon $200 calls. So again, I hear QQ's breaking higher here. Yeah, no, I'm ready to go to the gym right now. I'm happy. QQ, those 605s are at 1.40 here. I'm glad it's still 602. You see how premium just burning right here? They're 2.68, 2.79. I sold at 2.72. But the 605s are at 1.50 if you guys are still in the 605s. But these are great spots to take profits. But like as mentioned, if we lose the opening range, pop price like that. It's definitely happened, right? We lost the opening range and price popped. So you're not taking profits here. I don't know what to tell you. But if you are looking for the hyperextension, next level we need to clear is this 840 zone here on the Nasdaq. So we definitely need to clear this area here if you do want to see more extensions, more to the upside. But I'm all done here. I'm not gonna force. Like I said, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm gonna trade after 7:15 a.m. Might pay, right? But I really don't care. Like I'm happy this morning. Like I'm genuinely happy this morning, right? But yeah, this is it looks like the QQ is coming to this 840 zone. So if you're in the 615s, definitely anyone in the 615s in the audience, or excuse me, 605s or 605s are 1.55. The average on my for me was 1.09 on those. Yeah, no, I was all set this morning. I was just like, yeah, I'm also whenever I take losses, like I mean, I don't take losses every day, right? But like whenever, on average I take like about 3, 4 losses a month, right? But when I do take a loss, it's just, like when the market's closed, I don't know. And even though they're not like big losses, it's just, I don't know, it just makes you want to be better. It makes you want to actually follow your rules. It makes you actually, want to be a better trader. So we are targeting the opening range. If you guys are holding calls here, please manage your risk here, okay? If you guys can leave runners, can afford runners here, can, risk profits, by all means, have a risk management plan. But yeah, if we do hold up 602.30 here, 602.40, next stop is 605 here. If we hold it up, the only difference, pop quiz. What is the difference here? Pop quiz. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Whoever gets this right wins a $50,000 evaluation account and gets to trade it with me. What's the only difference here? What is the only difference here? Correct. Aziz, come on. Aziz won. Aziz, let's get you on that funded account next week. We're going to start trading futures next week, okay? All right. Congrats, Aziz. But yes, volume. Volume. It's volume. We're lacking volume. You see how volume died down here? So if you're holding, you put yourself in a situation where you're guessing for volume to pick up here. So, so far it's coming out to what I said that intraday we're going to go, well, the VIX is below the opening range, but still above $20. Still kind of like riskier, right? But if the VIX does go below $20, oh my, we're going to rip. If the VIX goes, if you're in calls here and the VIX does go below $20, right? If the VIX does go below $20, price is going to rip. Price is going to rip if the VIX goes below $20. But I would first focus on this opening range on NASDAQ. We're still not there yet. We definitely need to open above this, opening range earlier. And these are, I would say these are like, my favorite setups. When we swept liquidity from the high, we come back down. As you guys can see, we swept liquidity from the high. We came back down. We swept liquidity from the low. But now what's happening here is that this is the second retest, right? I don't like second retests, but they have been pretty successful lately. But I like third retests, right? Meaning that when price retests his opening range today on the day for the third time, that'll be my most attractive area. I call it the glass effect. Second reentries do work, yes, right? I'm not a fan of them. Right. I have students in where they gave me their perspective on why they're a fan of them, but I'm not a fan of second retests. Just me. It's, more, I call it the glass effect. Right. So again, I'm not a fan of, I would take profits here, but I get it. If we do break past this level, markets could rip. This is the key level. This is like the final boss area, 602.30. And this was in reality my entry on some QQ lottos yesterday when we hit price at this level. But like I said, I'm not a fan of second retests. I'm a fan of third retests. And I'm not in anything here, right? I'm like, I'm just in my $200 calls on Amazon for September. All right, guys. But any questions here? All right. So I am all done here. Great session today. Lots of big moves. Again, just a reminder, right? If you guys want to do the style trading that I do with momentum trading, keep in mind you'll have more success when there's actual volume. Today's the first day, right? Today's the first day. Well, QQ did touch 602, right? QQ did touch actually went higher, right? So that's why I said take profits as it pops. I don't like the second retest. So just wait for this third retest. This is where, if price pops above the second, third retest, that's where I like to break out. But going back to the volume, right? Like, today I like when the markets have volume, and today was the first day that I've seen in quite a minute that we saw some pickup in volume. I haven't seen this type of volume since I'm not gonna kid you, like, since December. So it's yeah. We definitely picking up market. This is the part where the markets are going to start getting volatile. Volume just confirmed it today, right? Definitely a lot of people got shakeout and a lot of money's starting to get active here. But, I'm not looking to force a trade here. I'm happy with my gains. Like I said, the market's just choppy, right? As you guys can see from this opening range is the 680 level, right? Market's just choppy. How I would see it, right, is that QQ just trading from 598.80 to this high here at 603. But not looking to chase. I'm all done here. But thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the session. Hope you got a lot of value from this session. Again, I'm a volume trader. I like when the markets have momentum. I like it when they have and I'm in and out. I'm in and out. I'm negotiable. I have no bias, right? Yeah, no, you had to be super fast with your entries today. Like this is a fast market. This is the market I love. Like this is where, this is where I recommend not using your phones, right? If you don't have experience with the limit fills or navigating the app really fast, this is where I say that you should really use the, TOS desktop version. And using your, Bill Fanter does a great job in, showing you guys how to do the bid and the asks, like, and getting them, sniping in your entries with the TOS, with the TOS platform. So, so for those of you guys who are desktop traders, um, you know, for those of you guys who are desktop traders on a TOS platform, please, and you're